Yeah, hello, Prof here. Just got in from dealing with the car. Got the winter tires swapped out for summer ones. You're like, in May? Yeah, deer hit my car. Was getting repaired. Didn't pay to do that till it got back, so we finally got that because I got to get back to work tomorrow. In person. Womp womp. Still dealing with replacing failed hardware. Well, I shouldn't say it. It's all replaced now. The last drive, all drives have now passed pre-check, and um, the last drive is getting swapped back in. And I've even had one of the drives that failed on the previous motherboard, power supply, RAID card, SATA power and data cable combo. All of those failed to some extent. Yeah. So, what we got this video for today is not that. That'll be later. It's not this little guy. That'll be this little guy here. That'll be another video. We're actually going to be doing a twofer because I am dealing with using a chubby cable for power since my phone is dying because I've been using it all day and had it playing music while I was in the garage. And I forgot I wanted to do this today because I want to take the new pens to work tomorrow. And I gotta give Shane his pen, and all of his refills were given him. And he's gonna get some more refills out of these two. Yes, I'm giving a hint. They're all both pens. So this one you're probably familiar with. That might look like a new style of package. It probably is. How do you want to attack this guy? Even when it's dull, it's still stupid sharp. These Fisker's utility blades are amazingly, stupidly sharp to the point where I'm still dealing not purposely, but I'm still willing to deal with the hole that causes it not to retract properly. It is handy though. The one I use in the garage still doesn't have that blade, and I don't have to worry about it doing weird shit. So that was kind of nice. But that's almost as sharp as Exacto. Ooh, Sprout. Tactile turn. This is the new seasonal from Tactile Turn. Seasonal Race Sprout. Grow with us. Take your new pen and budding garden on Instagram. We'll share with you. Herb mix directions. Outdoor sunny location. 1/4-inch deep soil after all danger frost is past. Water gently. Contents: basil, dill, marjoram, savory. Page Seed Company. Used by 3/5 of 2025. There you go. So you get some seeds with your Sprout. As well as your receipt. Not your recipe. For some reason I thought recipe is not receipt. Those are different things. Yes, yes. So, like I said, here's what you get with the seasonal. Let's call this, I believe it's seasonal 2023 spring Sprout. Hold on, I think our white balance is off. Can we shift that maybe with? Might be fixed. Oh, got our cool little sticker. We got our seeds. Now, what does the actual pen look like? Really cool. Box here. They've been getting really custom with these, which is nice. I believe they're made locally. Sprite, not all of us are blessed. Green thumbs, doesn't take a botanist to appreciate the beauty of nature, particularly in dense urban environments. Inspired by the perfect desk plant that brings a welcome pop of color without having to take care of it. Yep. So basically the plant that all the YouTube tech reviewers have. Sprout features two-tone glossy green body, white accents, laser engraved terracotta brown clip with complex foliage design. Caring for it, Sprout. The more sunlight, the better. Do not store in dark desk drawer. Watering is not required. But it doesn't hurt. Wipe with clean dab towel if pen gets dirty. Fertilize with new ink when the refill dries out. Enjoy. It's kind of funny. Like tee-hee funny. So, slim bolt action standard. And you're like, slim? I thought you liked the standard. And also, don't you like side clicks better? Yep. But I do not have a seasonal that is a slim bolt action. Also, the last seasonal, I really like this bolt action. Additionally, I think the new seasonal design, the Sprout colorway, just like with the 8-bit, I feel like these more simple designs tend to lend... Oh, that's smooth. Really snappy. Oh. It's super smooth on the... bolt action there. The last slim bolt action I have is the OG. Ost of GE. Right there. So, surprisingly, this, you're going to be like, what the hell? Yep. So I complained about Tactile turns bolts not being able to take Uniball refills. The slim bolt, however, and I didn't notice this till a more recent video, the slim bolt can take one completely unmodified. I mean, I do still put the notch in, and I round off the edges because it just makes any pen work better. But yeah, this just takes a standard Uniball. Will fit a standard Uniball refill. This one is the original, just titanium slim bolt. I did give it a OEM Plus vibe with the Damascus button there. Reason why I did that is Squares got the same pen around the same time, same just base titanium model, because that's all that was available on launch. And I just wanted something to the engraving and the bolt to kind of like stand out in case, because I believe at the time we were both still working Geek Squad. That way if we both had them there on the same day. So I will probably be just sticking a Uniball, the cellulose refill that I really like in here. But I think that this sort of simplistic colorway, like especially when they just do the tip and the cap, goes really well with the slim pens. It just works better, especially with like the 8-bit. Worked amazingly. You have to remember that also the big bolt still uses the old clip, and I asked them on Instagram. They do not plan to go to the new clip style on the full-size standard bolt. And I just feel like this sort of the white, what do you want to call it? The white screw there really just added that little bit more pop of white into this design. So, and like the other thing, like I said, again, I think I've said like 15 times, I do not have a seasonal, because I don't believe prior to this they made a seasonal slim bolt. When I had the Ember which was their first since the Stealth, which is it's a seasonal pen, but like it's not Cerakoted. Ember was actually like I ran that thing through more than one, like it was through a refill and like better part of another refill. I loved the action on that thing. Previously, I'd mostly been the side clicks, click, 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 but that one they just nailed. Same thing here. They didn't put they did not put the paint in the bolt there where it rubs, so it shouldn't rub off. Hopefully, the one downside with the Ember was that the bolt was a bright color, which was white, which meant it showed the grease. I did clean off the grease because they said oh, you can kind of clean in there, but every time you'd move back and forth like that, it would like re-show the grease. And I cleaned it off and it got too scratchy, so I had to put it back in there, and it just does not look as clean as it could. I mean, you need grease for the pen. It's a metal on metal pen. You need grease there. Yeah. I'm very happy with this selection on this one. I don't know. Let me know what you guys. Would you guys have gone slim like I did? Would you have gone bolt, or would you have gone the classic side click? Because traditionally I prefer, especially because it's unique to Tactile Turn, the side click. But especially ever since the Ember, they have done a really good job with their bolts. One of my daily drivers is the Carrot pen, which is the G10 bolt. I know David's G10 olive green bolt is his daily driver. This thing's just solid. Love my Carrot. So this one, getting added to the collection, went with slim bolt. Since like I said, the last time I had one was, I gotta make sure we don't hit things. Last time I had one was on launch, and it is a hair longer. This end cap here is just a hair longer because you can see where they painted. The new clip is also moved up much higher, so it's a deeper pocket carry. So if you look, basically this cap, the titanium original style with the older clip style, is taller, ever so slightly. And you can tell that they're basically be able to get a nice, taller, longer clip that sits up higher. It's a deeper pocket carry. The bolt actually is in the same spot, but since it's a slim bolt, they actually made the bolt slimmer. Whereas on this one, they just used the standard bolt. It's a nice touch because it's a smaller pen. Should get, like, the bolt's just a little, it doesn't stick out as far. It's not as thick. Compared to the Carrot here, which uses a standard one, they slim that down. So I'm quite happy with my selection being the slim bolt. I'll have to try and see if the full-size Uniball, just like in the original slim bolt, just fits, which I do appreciate. I mean, and it fits well. Look at that. Like chef's kiss there. Let me grab the next one we're gonna take a look at here. Alright, so the next one, that green looks good in there with all the orange and everything, is right here. And the reason why we do not need a separate video is this is technically also Tactile Turn. However, it comes by way of another company because they have done another collab. The last collab that I got was the Burnley brass, and I had to buy that second hand because I was too slow. This Oh, no hint there. Maybe. Oh, that might be a little hint. Or that. Or that. I bought the camera. Oh, they went with grid. Nice. Okay. Let's zoom on in. Here you go. So, they did include a field notes, which is a pretty standard kind of pocket notebook. Lots of places have sold versions of these. Hip and trendy, decent paper. I know Adam Savage has pushed them. They have, like measurements on them. They have, like, depending on if you're doing financial stuff. It's just kind of like a thin, cheap, staple bound quality. I think CW&T might have done a version of this before they did their own sketch pad. They included that with, and that's a grid. I'd prefer grid over lines any day. So we have Montana Knife Company X Tactile Turn. Then we have the Montana Knife Company Bolt Action Pen, U.S. made, indeed, made in, I believe, Texas by Tactile Turn. Now the cool part right there is the top. You can't tell that, but it's actually like a holographic. It's got a sheen to it. And orange is one of my colors, so I had to pick this thing up. That thing pops. Super lightweight. Excuse me. And you're like, well, why is it super lightweight? Well, it's probably lighter weight than the Sprout, to be truthful. Yeah, I'd argue right around. Maybe possibly lighter. Because it's aluminum. This is one of almost all of the recent pen collabs that Tactile Turn has done have been aluminum, standard size, standard length bolts, which is, I would say, uncommon because they haven't had their own aluminum bolt for quite some time. I want to say I don't think I read on the product page, but to me, that bolt looks like Delrin. That doesn't look like titanium or stainless steel. Maybe they got that fixed because there were issues with the smooth operator with that. But if they did, I mean, it feels really smooth. Part of the reason why, besides the orange, like, I'm not a huge orange and black, but this orange is like the exact right orange for me. I don't know if it's coming through correctly on, I think the white balance is a little off. But it is a very vibrant orange. Like where it's so vibrant, you're gonna have to like color correct on the photos you take. But the other unique thing about it is definitely the knurling on the grip, which the Bernoulli, which I really like a lot, also has. And it's also at the correct distance, because a lot of times, I don't know if you, at least for me, pens put the grip either much too close to the tip, like it's too short, or too far. And this is about where you would hold, at least with my standard grip here, for that. And they did a very good job on the Bernoulli brass one. Oh, that's really smooth too. Oh, no O-ring? That's interesting. Oh. So there is no O-ring on the tip. No O-ring there. And that's a bit of grease on it. It's not the white paste. That's fairly common, so I wonder what they're using there. standard coarse spring from Tactile Turn. And we have our G2 refill that I will be swapping out immediately. But this thing is super lightweight as I get grease all over it. Super bright orange too. That's gotta be Delrin. If it is, I don't want to undo the bolt because it's gonna be so sketchy to get back on. It could be raw titanium? Yeah. Okay, it's got a blue tinge in there. It'd be almost impossible to show on camera, I think. Okay, it's got a blue tinge in there, so more than likely that's not Delrin. That's raw raw titanium in there. And the bluing you get from heat. So it could be, they could have anodized it, I guess. And it wouldn't be raw, it'd be anodized aluminum. Or, sorry, anodized titanium. But because the bluing you see in there, way in there, that's from anodizing the titanium. From heat anodizing it. That could also be from milling as well, I guess. If there was too much heat. Or not too much heat, but enough heat to cause it to anodize. But yeah, that orange is... Oh, we're getting some better because I have my headlamp on. It's really freaking bright. The box is cool. They did a great job of branding that, but having a pen with the knurling again, which you only seem to get on the third-party pens, which so far all the recent ones have all been, like I said, have all been this aluminum full length. I can understand doing the full length, full size. This is because this is probably what they sell the most of, right? But then that being aluminum, when traditionally Tactile Turn doesn't work in aluminum, is surprising. I'm guessing it's a cost thing. Also, no O-ring on the tip is interesting. I'll have to ask David because he has. I bought him an aluminum one for I think Christmas. Not the full size one, but the short, not the mini. I'll have to see if he has a O-ring on it or not. Because traditionally they do. You just saw the sprout, as well as the you saw the sprout as well as the original slim. Yeah, so I gotta find a G2 spring. In my opinion, on the on the slim pens from Tactile Turn, the G2 springs just work better. Yeah, there's a lot of grease on the end of that refill. Yeah, and they work fine in the slim. I've tried G2 springs in their standard size, like this one right here. Right, I obviously haven't tried the aluminum because this is my first time with an aluminum full size bolt. But I have tried, like on the G10 I showed earlier. I have tried a G2 spring on there, and it's not enough. I don't know if it's because they're side to side. They mill this out, or that might be the stock they use. But the hole in there is much fatter than it needs to be for any of the refills that fit. My guess is that's a stock thing, like as in the bar stock they get is already that much on the inside drilled out. And I don't know if that's the only reason why, but it seems like because the refill has a little bit more room to play around, move around, slide around, that it needs that stronger spring. Because theoretically, if this is the same distance, why would you need a more coarse spring than the slim one? Also, the slim one, for whatever reason, the spring is way more compressed when getting it on. which makes the G2, which doesn't need to be pre-compressed or need to be pre-compressed nearly as much. Here, I'll show you what I mean. If I put this guy, oh, it's so greasy. Okay, so if I put this back in there, that is all the way on there. Then I put the spring on here. Here, check this out. That is as close as that gets. You have to squish that down and thread it at the same time. If you use a standard G2 spring, like a Pilot G2, that would normally come with these refills right here, it touches. Like the threads touch, so you can just screw it on. Let's go to like a full size, standard size one. When you do this, you can't, but for whatever reason, this is at least reasonable to do. Like that. Whereas with the slim, it's you can see a video with David where it's almost impossible as well. Now that lines up super clean right there, even without the O-ring. I just wonder how tight it'll stay traditionally. So I don't know. I wonder why the O-ring. Like I said, I'll have to ask David to see if his is the same way, like his aluminum one that is not branded with another company or co-produced or whatever you want to call it. To see if he has an O-ring on his aluminum one. Maybe they found that they could eliminate it for aluminum. Because, I mean, they even had to grease it, which you don't see on the titanium. So, well, guys, let me know what you thought about the new seasonal sprout from Tactile Turn, as well as the Montana Knife Company partner pen here. Really vibrant orange. I like the knurling. As you know, I'm a standard length kind of guy, so I had to pick it up with the orange and the knurling. Also, I didn't have a aluminum bolt yet, so it kind of checked a lot of boxes off for me for my collection. I'll be taking both these to work tomorrow when I head back in. Gonna swap those refills for Uniballs and give these G2 refills over to Shane for his ever-growing collection of G2 refills that he will probably never, ever completely use up because there's so freaking many of them. Alright, hope we'll see you in the future. Let me know if you have any questions, comments about these pens or other ones in my collection. We'll see you next time. Peace. Alright, so quick update here. With the Sprout, which is the slim bolt, I forgot one of the true reasons why, besides just being easier to deal with. I stole G2 springs from someone else. Look at this. It's just way easier to deal with a G2 spring because you can just thread it right up. The other issue that comes in is when you use the Tactile Turn spring, which is longer, and I've seen it happen on the G2 refills, but it more often than not happens on the Uniball because the stepping is a little bit different on the refill and the bit. What happens is you can't actually get it in the hole, and the reason for that is the spring actually goes over the edge of the refill there like that, and then you cannot actually push it through. So we thought back in the day when we had the slim bolts that was because something wasn't aligning properly, but yeah, it actually turns out because there's actually too long of a spring in there. When it collapses, right, when it squishes down, it actually gets in the way of, because it's such a tight fit for the slims to have the refill go into here. It's such a tight fit that it actually would slip in between the little bit that's open on the side, like the little bit of play that's in there, and the spring was too thick there. The other thing I do on the slims is, I normally straighten this out on a normal pen, and I went a little bit aggressive on this one, but I rounded off just a little bit, and the notch is super helpful for getting air in there. But on the slims, I also take a little bit of sandpaper and just smooth out that right there, because it's just constantly rubbing right in that spot, which can cause issues. But yeah, the big thing, or the initial thing is with the G2 spring, you can just easily put this back on, and then also you don't have to worry about the spring getting in the way of the refill, you know, like the Uniball refill. And then watch this. Works fine. Unmodified, unshortened refill, perfect length sticking out. Now, here's an issue I did just run into. I shortened this refill by the normal 1 to 2 millimeters. That I would do for a tactile turn bolt. And I wouldn't call this an issue. This is actually an improvement in the end. I don't know why this happened. Or so it does look like they actually redesigned the aluminum one here with the Montana Knife Co. one. Look, it barely sticks out. Right? So I think on the new aluminum, it looks like they actually changed and updated the full-size bolt design on the aluminum bolts. I'm going to put a full-length Uniball refill in here. Gotta open up a new one because I cut that one down just assuming. Never assume, guys. You see what just happened. I'm not gonna waste that refill because I have plenty that need the shortened one. Just don't forget to label it, otherwise you're gonna put it in another pen and wonder what the fuck happened. Shorten/cut down. Yep. So we have our standard non-cut down refill here. God, I'm getting this. It's not lithium grease because it's gray. Whatever it is, I'm getting it all over. Okay, here. Nope, you can't use. Oh, or can you? Yeah, you can't use a non-cut down one at all. It's so close too, because it like I can force it. Like it's so close. And it sticks out the correct length. So freaking close. I think I'm going to wear down either the bolt or the notch though, because it just hangs. Like just a hair. Let me see. I just can't get it past. So maybe I'll just knock a hair off. Even less than usual. I feel like because it's semi-corrected on this, they thought about it a little bit or something, or maybe it was an unintended design change. But if you're that freaking close, so close. And yes, it's only because I use the Uniball refills. I do prefer them over the G2. But there's not that much difference between them, and they're getting closer, and they even have other pens that just fit. Like the side click fits natively. Oh, it's so close. Like it just hangs. That little bit. So. So close on this guy. Otherwise, really nice. The Sprout, you know, I just wanted to update you guys on why you want to switch to the G2 spring. I think they should ship that way because like I got this, I can get it in there with the longer spring, but because it has to compress as much as it does, it literally gets stuck unless you align it like just perfectly right. Whereas if you use the G2 spring, it just works. And I feel like the action's actually better with it being lighter. Now on these wide bodies, you know, the standard thickness ones, you do need the bigger spring. I've tried that. It does not work with the standard G2 spring. But this one is so close to fitting with working with a standard refill, and I mean like weird clicky noise. Close, like so close. I guess I gotta go chopping. Chop.